like to start a new series today. And this series I'm going to call Preparing the Bride. I recently attended a Zoom prayer meeting, and during that prayer time, one of the people that was on there asked God to give us prayers of preparation. And I really have been thinking about that ever since. It really just kind of put a chord into my thoughts, and I've been thinking about what does that mean, prayers of preparation, and how should we be preparing for the coming of the Lord? Because I do, like the people on that Zoom meeting that I was a part of, I believe, like they do, that the Lord's return is soon. It's coming. We're getting closer to it. It's not far off like it used to be, distant in the horizon, and now I really think that we're coming close to that horizon. So in this series, I would like to explore just a little bit about what it means to prepare as the bride of Christ. What does it mean to prepare for the coming of the bridegroom, and how and what kind of prayers should we be praying? Prayers of preparation. What does that sound like? What does it look like and sound like? So I hope that you'll join me through this next few videos as we kind of just explore that topic. I'm really excited about it. So the first thing that I think I need to do in order to kind of set this up is to just give us an understanding of what the ancient Jewish culture was when it came to marriage ceremony, betrothal ceremony, that kind of thing. And that will give us a basic understanding of where I'm going to go in the scripture and why I kind of see certain things, because it's really kind of based off of what that ancient tradition was for the marriage ceremonies and so forth. So first of all, during the ancient times, the Hebrews, the Jewish people, had very neat rituals that they would do when a couple was going to be betrothed. So what happened was when there was a betrothal, usually the fathers got together and decided, hey, our two children, you've got a girl, I've got a boy, let's get them together. They seem to be, good together, and so we're gonna arrange a marriage. And so then what they would do is they would have a betrothal ceremony. So a lot of things happen during that ceremony, but one thing that's particularly interesting for our purposes is what would happen is there would be a lot of things said, blessings and so forth. The marriage contract would be kind of hashed out between the fathers and so forth. And if the potential bride and groom, if they agreed to the things that were hashed out in the contract, then they would each drink from a cup of wine. And if they agreed, they were signifying by the fact that they drank the wine that they were now entering into this marriage contract. And what would then happen is the bride would not see the bridegroom for a long period of time, and that time would be determined by the bridegroom's father. And what the father would kind of have the son do is prepare a place, prepare a home for the bride. Now usually the place that the bridegroom would be preparing would be attached to the father's house. That's usually how they did it back then. Not so much nowadays, right? But back then, it would be a portion of the house that would be essentially added onto the father's house. And so when that was done, then it would be time to go and get the bride and bring her to her new home, okay? So the father of the bridegroom was the one who determined when that place was finished and when it was done and ready. And so when that time came, the father would say, all right, son, go and get her. She's all yours now. And it would usually be this, so the time period was unknown. They didn't know how long it would take. It was just an indefinite amount of time. Now they would do it with great ceremony, and there would be, people with lamps. It usually happened at night. So what would happen is the father would be like, okay, tonight get all your people together. There would be, you know, food arranged and wine and people with lanterns and all of this. And there would be this great procession and music going on in the street and from the bridegroom's home. So they would begin marching from the bridegroom's home, and there would be shouting and yelling, and the commotion would be heard way off where the bride was at. And people would say, oh, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming. I hear him coming, he's in the street, let's go, let's go. So then the bride and her procession would all get up when they heard that the bridegroom was coming. They would all get up and get their stuff ready, and then they would proceed marching out in the street. And what would happen is, here come the two processions, and they would meet in the middle of the street. Wow, you know, and like there would be this great joy and great celebration. They'd meet in the middle of the street, and they would then proceed back to the bridegroom's home, back to the father's home. And for 7 days, there they would relax and feast and drink a lot of wine. And if you remember in John chapter 2, when Jesus and his disciples and his mother went to the wedding in Canaan, they were feasting and drinking wine, and there was a problem because partway through the feast of 7 days, they ran out of wine, and that was not a good thing to run out of wine. You know, you're day 3 into this celebration, you got 4 more days to go, and you better not run out of wine, right? That was a big deal. So that's what would happen back then. Even, you know, even in the late 1800s, this is how the Jews celebrated marriage contracts and marriage betrothal contracts and the marriage contracts. That's how they did it, even up until the late 1800s. I would even venture to say early 1900s. So not so much anymore, because there's not arranged marriages anymore, really, but very, very neat traditions. So all of that will kind of be the basis for what we're going to talk about a little bit. And when it comes to what does the bride do for that preparation time period? What is the bride doing? What is she? How do you prepare when you're getting ready for your bridegroom to come and get you at an undisclosed time, right? All right, well, stick around for the next couple of videos. I hope you enjoy this series. I'm super excited about it. All right, we'll talk to you next time.